Hi, I'm Blair Romance. I'm a 22-year-old female Sydney artist. I make a lot of, probably my discography that's out at the moment is more alternative pop, but I'm definitely on a new wave with my next project where I'm diving into this like electronic, alternative rock, dreamscapey, ethereal, dark wave sort of like energy. I make music, I study sound production and sound design. I work as a bartender at Metro Theatre as well, and music's been my passion my whole life. I've been singing my whole life as well. It comes very naturally to me. I would describe my genre right now, my Bruises EP is quite alternative pop, electronic kind of EDM-y. But my next project is going to be more focused on rock, more alternative rock wave, and electronic sad sort of like dancey project. I don't have like a title for it. I don't have like a knowledge on if it's going to be an album or an EP yet. I think I might even just release them single by single and see how it goes. But yeah, I want to dive into a lot more genres. I want to experiment with a lot more styles, and I'm always open to collabs. I'm always open to feedback. I'm always open to people like sending me tracks saying like, hey, I think this might be a new style that you can enjoy. And like, I'm very open-minded like that. I chose Blair Romance because as a kid, I've always loved the name Blair. I've really associated with it as kind of like a alter ego kind of thing. I used to draw a lot of My Little Pony characters when I was like a child, you know what I mean? And attach the name Blair to my OC character. So I kind of just took that on board and kept it in the back of my mind as I grew up through my teenage years. And I went by a different stage name when I started making music, but I kind of realized I wanted to go by Blair at some point in my career, and I didn't want to just keep it Blair blank because there's one, too many profiles like that, so it couldn't be differentiated. But two, I wanted to have like a Blair dun, you know what I mean? Like a Blair blank, something like at the end of it to make it like a stage name, like something that would stick with people. And I like the idea of like romance, romantic stuff, like hearts, love, Valentine, stuff like that. So originally I was going to go with Blair Valentine, but then I was like, there's too many Valentines. I don't like the initials BV. It just doesn't look right, doesn't feel right to me. And I was umming and ahhing a whole bunch of options with my mum, and she kind of just threw out, what about romance? And I was like, I kind of like that, Blair Romance, but it just matches. It feels like it's very my style. I have a big obsession with like heart-shaped stuff. I have like 14 heart-shaped stuff tattooed on me as well. I love collecting them. So I just feel like the name Blair Romance fit my personality and the stage name that I wanted to portray as well. I do have a lot of tattoos. I do. Nothing right here on my shoulders, but if you look at my hands and like, if I start like putting up my shirt and stuff, you'll start seeing a few. Yeah, so that's, like I said, that is my baby. I love I Feel Weird. It's my most emotional song. The story behind it actually is I was trying to buy a harp for my studio at home because I wanted to work with a harp. It was cool just to maybe even have it as like a statue in there. I don't know, I don't play the harp, but I wanted to have it. And I sent some money through Facebook Marketplace, and the day that I went to Annabelle's house to record that song was the day I realized that I actually had gotten scammed. So they just took $1,000 off me, and I couldn't get it back. I couldn't like file any PayPal disputes or claims or anything. And I started spiraling like mentally so bad in that moment. I told Annabelle, just hit record on this vocal track and just let me spit some. So I'm like going in and I'm picking out everything. And because like I was triggered from just getting scammed, it made me feel so much shame and guilt that it brought up kind of old emotions. So in the song, I'm talking a lot about like struggling to connect with your dad. At the very start of like the very first verse is explaining how my birthdays don't really feel like I can connect with my family because people like my dad don't allow me to come in emotionally, and while he's good for some things, he's not good for others, and it makes me sad to realize that I'll never have a true connection like that. It also touches base on the fact that I grew up with like a strict mother as well, and we never had a good relationship either until later on in our lives. And there's also some topics about how I'm talking about my brother's passing and how his emptiness left a hole there. The whole line about ordering $40 of Uber Eats is all about like having a really bad depression week, and I'm just like, I haven't eaten in a while, I'm gonna order some Uber Eats, and it's just a meal when you get it. It's not dead, it's alive. Like the meat's not cooked, or it's overcooked, or like they're missing something, or it just tastes like it's cold, it's too hot, it's too this, it's too that. Like everything feels like and everything feels like it's crumbling, and I feel weird. And that's how that song kind of came about. It's just like an outpour of big emotions.
So it's like you channeling the energy that
Exactly.
you got when you got scammed.
Exactly. I got scammed and I just felt like such shame and embarrassment that like past traumas just came out of me, and like I just had to talk about what was on my mind in that moment. And subconsciously it was my parents' relationship with myself and themselves, and also the premature death of my brother and how much of a gap that's left in my heart and in my life. Blair romance as a zodiac sign would be an Aquarius through and through. Unique, individualistic, esoteric. Just, I think that's the vibe that Blair romance portrays. Just very like one of a kind, on her own, doing her own, but also like a little strange and a little bit like off-putting, and a bit like if you talk to me for too long, it's like, what are you actually saying? I love confusing people. Sometimes I'll just speak and speak and speak and speak, and then I'll be like, none of that was true.
If you cannot confuse them.
Exactly. I'm a bit of a jester, a bit of like a don't take myself too seriously kind of person, while also taking myself very seriously at the same time. So I feel like an Aquarius would fit right there, smack bang in the middle.